the office corner. I'm here with a rare treat. I'm about to interview JayB at Show Me Records. How you doing, brother?
How you doing, AC?
All right, nice talking to you, man. Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for talking to me. All right, man. I'm just gonna start right at the beginning. Tell me, basically, how did you get started in music?
I mean, it dates back to when I was a little kid, man. Actually DJing house parties, my family put on. Dad used to buy records, man. Every week I used to sound like I was DJing, you know what I'm saying, on the radio for real, you know. And I just started really having a passion for it as I grew older, man. Doing private parties, at colleges, nightclubs, and I mean that's pretty much how I got started with the DJing.
And what's some of your favorite music that you played growing up?
Old school, man. Old school funk, Midnight Star, you know, Daz, man, stuff like that. Run DMC, of course.
That's what I'm talking about. The beat, definitely. I love the songs, love the beat, love everything back in the day. So what transitioned from your DJing to actually getting started in the music industry?
Well, what happened when I was at the club, I used to DJ at a club called the Evergreen Ballroom back in like the early 90s, and the owner used to bring big time artists to the club like Tina Turner, B.B. King, and it was like the Apollo of the Northwest. So it went from me actually being a DJ to a promoter. So with that being said, I started promoting national acts. And like my very first national act I promoted was Run DMC. So when I got, you know what I'm saying, a taste of that, I'm like, man, I'm loving this. So we went from Run DMC to Digital Underground, Loonies. I just did Tech 9 a few years ago. And I just kept that going as far as promotion. And it's just, I love it. You know, it's a lot of fun.
All right, now for the biggest question. How did it blow up into all this?
Well, when I moved back to St. Louis, because like all that stuff I was doing that in Washington State. When I moved back to St. Louis, I pretty much kind of stopped doing music and kind of like settled down a little bit and family life and whatnot. And my cousin from LA, he came out here and he kind of like sparked. You know, he was like, you know, music is your dream, your passion, man. You know, what are you doing, man? He's like, looking around you, JayB, there's Nelly and there's singing, you know what I'm saying? You got all this around you, what are you doing? And like, right when he told me that, it kind of like sparked me, and I was like, you know what? Let me get back in the game, man. So, what ended up happening, I started Show Me Records. My cousin, which is a different cousin that's here in St. Louis, been here all his life. We were just sitting in the car one day and, you know, thinking of names, like, man, what we gonna call it? You know what I'm saying? First it was gonna be Renegade, and it was something else. And then he was like, man, you know what? Show Me Records. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, you should name me Show Me Records. So that was like a couple of years ago. So that's where I got the name from, and pretty much started getting a lot of connection. Like J-Dog, this is the exclusive studio that we're in right now. This is where we come and get all our music done, you know, mix and master and whatnot. And I mean, we just grind. It's just a grind. It's an everyday grind.
I know all about the grind.
Yeah.
Now here's my question for you, though. You had, like you were saying, you had Nelly, you had Chingy. St. Louis has got so much market for talent that's so untapped. And, you know, we have people like you that's doing it. We got a lot of people that's doing it. What do we need to do to get over that, like you know, Nelly and Chingy did?
Well, for one, I feel that we definitely got to get a radio station that's going to be behind us. You know what I mean? A station that's going to pretty much broadcast us, you know, on a higher level. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love college radio and whatnot. He play our music on DJ Better, shout out to him. He got us in full rotation on his show down there at 89.5. But we need a station that's going to put us in full rotation and not just, okay, we're going to play 45 minutes or 45 seconds of your song during the 5 o'clock drive or 11 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? We need to be in full rotation. You know, just like they playing Rick Ross on radio, just like they playing Lil Wayne, they need to play St. Louis artists like that. And that's going to be a pretty much jump for us to break into the mainstream or whatnot here in St. Louis. That's my opinion.
I personally feel that's the problem. We need to actually, if you have radio stations here that actually play music, our music, we need to focus more on local artists.
Exactly.
Now, from my experience, I worked in corporate television. Corporate radio, it gets kind of tricky and hard. Because like I said, like you were saying, that they'll play the Rick Ross, they'll play the Lil Wayne, but I still find it hard to get why just because you're corporate radio, you still can't put a local record on rotation.
Well, here's the thing with corporate radio. You got different independent contractors that, it's called payos, but for some reason, they've gotten, I guess you can say, a secret way of paying the radio stations. And this is the secret way. I mean, I probably shouldn't be saying it, but you know, I'm going to speak my mind.
No, you said it. That's
you know what
you're supposed to do, bro.
So you got these independent contractors that the record companies are paying for them to pay these corporations like a Radio One or a Clear Channel to play their artists on the radio. You might ask, okay, why can't St. Louis artists do the same thing? Well, a lot of the artists here in St. Louis, either they don't know this or they don't have funds because it's not cheap. You know, it's not cheap to pay these corporations to get your song played on the radio. And I mean, I know an artist that paid $20,000 to get spun right here in St. Louis, and when that $20,000 was gone, his song was gone. So, you know what I'm saying, we're not dealing with the days where a DJ will hear your song and like, you know what, that song is hot, man, I'm just going to play it because it's hot. It's all about money. It's all about money.
And see, that's the sad part, too, because the money's going to come out one way or another. You just have to take a chance on an artist.
Exactly. And there's no more chances being made anymore. I mean, even with record companies, if they see talent these days, they might not sign you just because you don't have 1 million YouTube views or you don't have 1 million people following you on Twitter. They're using, to me, stupid, you know what I'm saying, reasons to sign you other than your talent.
Actually, that was going to be my next question. Not just YouTube or Twitter followers. You know how Motown did it. You know how people like your artists or Nelly and other people get started. What do you think about the YouTube followers and the talent shows on TV and all this other stuff as opposed to just going in the studio and grinding and paying your dues?
I mean, that's 2013. What you just said, that's the way it is. Back when Motown was, hired to bringing out Smokey Robinson, to bring out Temptation, it wasn't like that. It was, okay, Barry Gordy heard you at a talent show, or you came to Motown. You know what I'm saying? If he liked you, you're good, or his people liked you, you got signed. It goes back to what I'm saying. They're not using that no more. They're using this social networking technology because they don't want to take that risk. They think, okay, well, if this person got 1 million views or 1 million plus views, then he got a lot of people that's going to buy his records, and we're going to make money. But the record companies, they're not even realizing that people are paying for fake views, right? And fake likes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these artists are, I ain't trying to knock nobody hustle. With me, I'm trying to bring the realness back. And it's everything is fake now.
It is.
In the music business. It's just so fake.
I totally agree. I'm in full agreement with you. That's why I don't know. I see like the slum movement and what you're doing and other people trying to bring the music back. But I know it's hard because of I like to call it corporate radio.
Mm-hmm.
A corporate radio and B, and Radio 1 and 2 should be shameless.
Exactly.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know if you listen to radio lately. I've been listening to Magic 104. I should think it's Magic 100.3. Hopefully I didn't get in trouble for saying the names and nothing like that.
Oh, no, you're
all right, but
fine.
They just switched over to trying to be like Hot 104. And Magic 100 has been such a quality radio station ever since I've known back in the early 80s.
Exactly.
And now you're hearing Lil Wayne on there now. You know what I'm saying?
When you said that the other day, that kind of took me aback because it's like, really, Lil Wayne?
Yeah. I mean, they're playing that type of thing, and I guess it's all about money. It's all about money, not quality, but money.
But before I go any further, I wanted to say this interview, what we're doing here, this is just me and you talking. I don't follow anybody corporate. This is my show.
Okay.
Okay. So whatever you want to say, you can say. Cause I run this show, so you good.
Okay. All right.
All right. Switching gears So who's the first artist that you signed with your group?
First artist I signed to Sony Records by was an artist or group by the name of MATB, Lil Shine and Lil Nine. I signed them, they were like 16, 15, 16 years old. And the first song that we released was called Throw That, and a music video for it. And it did well. It did well. We pretty much sold the music, on the streets. We didn't even put it, in the mom and pop stores, nothing like that. We did have it on iTunes. And it did good. That group pretty much broke Sony Records.
That's what I'm talking about. So how many acts do you have now, actively?
Right now I have MATV, I have Young K, I have DJ BOSS, and I have Tech Thug, and I'm even go hard on the track with this producer / rapper.
How's everybody doing so far?
Well, right now, MATV really is the only artist that we've even brought out as far as material. Everybody right now is working on their albums and mixtapes, and we're going to be kind of doing some masterpiece stuff this summer and just bam, 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 bam. Every month you're going to have something new from each artist and whatnot. We're also working on a tour we're going to be doing to support everybody's music this summer.
I'll keep me informed, and I'll get out there and promote everything. Speaking of which, switching gears one more time, you're talking about doing the tour, talking about doing the mixtapes. I see you got the jeans and Cardinal shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about brothers like JayZ as far as, I'm not knocking his hustle, but it's just the fact that it's almost like he's sold out as far as that's concerned. What do you,
with JayZ, I speak on JayZ a lot myself, and he got the term said can't knock my hustle and whatnot. I used to be a JayZ fan back in the day, but let me tell you what made me not a fan of JayZ is when I'm a Christian, I believe in Jesus Christ, and when he said that Jesus couldn't save me, and the world begins when the church ends, I said, nah, you messed up, brother. I can't.
I lost you there.
I can't keep supporting you. I don't want to. And to me, he even got deeper with it. These are cult-looking videos that he got out of it. He's even, he's letting you know, what he's about. Mm-hmm. So I'm cool with you.
Yeah, I understand. I truly understand. So now I want to ask. I have a theory as to what happened to the music, but what is your theory as to what happened? I'll give you my. Well, here's what's going on. Wu-Tang was really the last good group that I actually seen coming out. There was some a little bit after that. We had a resurgence in early 2000s, like maybe 2003, 2004, with Outkast coming back to everybody. But what do you think really happened to the music?
They got fake technology. I think technology, like we were just speaking on, I think that destroyed music. YouTube destroyed music. Really. Right. It did. When Radio 1, because I don't know how far back you can remember, like Magic 1, it was Magic 108 at one time. It wasn't ran by Radio 1. It wasn't ran by a clear channel. No. These corporations came into existence and bought out all these radio stations, and that's what it did. That destroyed music, in my opinion.
No, I think you're more accurate on that with that. Because like I say, I used to work for a TV station that was highly corporate, and it was that same type of stuff that happened on the radio, on the TV side, also happened on the radio side. Nobody's locally owned anymore. There's no more local feel to it, unless it's all about making the corporations some money.
That's what it's all about, money.
Exactly.
And I get a lot of criticism, people say, you hating, you're supposed to be in the industry, and you hating on Lil Wayne, you hating on Rick Ross. Look at me, man. I can't. How can I hate on JayZ? Or how can I hate on Rick Ross? No matter what I say, them guys still gonna make money.
They're gonna make
what
money.
I'm doing, I'm speaking my mind. I'm giving you an opinion of what's going on. Either you're gonna take it or you're not.
Right.
But don't call me a hater. I'm not a hater.
Right, exactly. No, I know. Trust me, I get accused of being one myself. But you say Lil Wayne, Lil Wayne with Ross, Jay-Z. I throw Birdman in that mix too. It's like all these brothers who, and like I said, I pick on Jay-Z and Birdman because they're old enough and they've been in the game long enough to know. I'm back with JayB, and now I brought one of his artists, DJ BOSS. How you doing,
JayB BOSS, all right. How you doing?
Doing all right.
All right.
All right. So tell me how you got to beat this week.
Oh, actually, we go back a few years. I had a show that I was doing. A friend of mine had set it up, I believe, and JayB was it was his welcome back party, coming back to St. Louis, and things of that nature. And to be honest with you, I did not get a chance to perform that night due to other situations that happened at the venue that night. But he promised to repay me by another show. So we just kind of kept in contact, and one thing led to another. Relationship became stronger, and he learned that I was way more into the music than what he thought. So one thing just led to another, and I went from being an artist performing at one of his venues to being the president of his company. So
that's what I'm talking about. So what started your love for music?
Well, it just started way back a long time ago. I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. Granted that my whole family is musically inclined, so that's just one of the traits that I picked up as far as being in the church choir, doing praise dances, school. I was always in doing plays, and I just fell in love with music, and it's just something that I've always wanted to do. I never thought that it would really become serious as the way it is now, because I always took it as a hobby,
right.
But I did something and made a little money, and I was like, hey, and nothing wrong with getting paid for what you love to do. So
that's what I'm talking about. Exactly.
So here you are now. So
if you love what you do and you can get paid doing it, that's all right.
Exactly.
That's all right. So art. So between you guys got great acts. You guys are coming out with more. I was just talking to JayB about what happened to the music. What do you think happened to the music?
Honestly, talking about industry music?
Yeah.
Or just, okay, well, honestly, I just woke up one morning and everything was different. It was almost sort of like a movie to me. I remember back in the day, there's a lot of dance music, from the Cupid Shuffle and, party music, and I don't know, someone by the name of Lil Wayne.
We were just talking about that.
Right. And all of these other characters came out, and
I like how you say characters.
Exactly. And honestly, me being an artist, I really do take offense to that type of music, because I have children of myself, and the one thing I never talked about in my music. Well, I really can't say never, but now that I'm older, I do not talk. I do not glorify guns, drugs. I do not degrade women, by calling them out of their names.
But I want to, actually, I wanted to talk to both of you about that. I actually wanted to ask you both your own opinion, and I am going to pick on Lil Wayne and Rick Ross. First, I'm going to start about Rick Ross because that's a little bit more serious. So, what's going on about what do you guys get from the Rick Ross popping mollies and date raping?
Yeah, that new song that he got out is something else, and that's something that should never. And he said, it's against the rules, the code, it's against the streets, against hip hop. Well, if you know this, why are you saying this?
Exactly.
And he did come out. I'm gonna give him some credit because I'm a Christian, and I think that even though he says he don't forgive, I forgive. He apologized once he seen how many people was against this, and he's losing endorsements and whatnot. He's seen how messed up that line was. He has apologized for it. But for one, you're saying that you put something in this girl's drink without her knowing it. That off the top, even if you're not talking about rape, that's wrong. You know, how do you know she wants to be a crackhead? You know, you putting stuff in her drink. So lyrics like that, I'm totally against, and I think he's feeling the heat behind it.
So my next question for both of you, anyone of you guys, or you both can answer, how are you guys' music being embraced on the streets? And I'm specifically talking about younger crowd.
Well, like I was just telling you about MTV, and I was saying the song that we did when we first started Show Me Records Throw That. I mean, we had advertised on BET, and we had no problem selling. I mean, we sold 1,000 copies of that song in like 1 week. And as soon as, you know, people saw MTV, they're like, we seen y'all on MTV, you know, they were giving them donating. This is his thing. We're just taking donations. Mm-hmm. So when he said that, we had people giving us $20 for one song, you know, and excuse me, we really, I think the streets embraced us. Like all the shows, the people know the words of the songs, so that's telling you something right there. And we never have a dead audience. No matter what show we do, it's always packed. So that's letting you know off the bat that the streets are embracing us.
That's what I like. So how is local media embracing you guys?
It's the same way. I mean, like I was telling you about DJ Better, he always, you know, playing our music. Anytime we want to interview, we call him up, like, come on to the station, get your interview. Block DVD, Show Us Love. My man right here's getting ready to start his own show. Blue Block DVD, which is a local company here in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they showing us love. They're showing us love.
After the interview, I got a proposal for you guys. Cubes up. I can also do that as an artist as well. That's okay. So my next question: all that's going on, you know, as far as Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, and everything. You to have artists like Harris One, Public Enemy, X-Clan, and Youthful Embrace, you know, us as a black culture. All right, next, Lil Wayne and Emmett Till.
Emmett Till?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just totally disrespectful. I'm very big on history, you know, and I really got it from my grandparents. They were born in like 1913, 1915, so they were coming out of that slavery era. And for him to make a statement like that, I mean, yes, I understand entertainment is entertainment, but that's not entertainment to me. You know, that was like a blow in the face. You know, I mean, not to sound racist or anything, but I mean, as far as black people as a race, as a culture, what we've been through, the Dr. Martin Luther King, the Malcolm X, what they went through just to fight for our right to vote, or for myself and a Caucasian person to drink out the same water fountain, to go to the same schools, you know, to use the same restroom, you know, and for him to, I mean, he's basically, this is how I feel, he's basically disrespecting our history, you know. That's how I feel about it.
For a buck.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you the same thing I told JB. This is the office one. So basically, I run this. So if you want to say whatever you want to say, don't apologize for it. Just say what you got to say. You know what I mean? So this won't be edited out. This is all us talking. Right? So no, just feel to say whatever you want to say, because this is your opinion. This is your show.
Right.
Okay? I just got a few more questions. I'm done. So what's in the future the next couple of years for Show Me Records?
Well, this is my vision when I first started Show Me Records. I knew in order for us to be successful, for one, we keep God first. We do that. He's another friend of mine that truly 100% puts his life towards God, tries to do what's right. And I said what I wanted to do was get not just St. Louis. I named this company Show Me Records for a reason. I want the whole state involved, because you really don't have a record company in the state that's really putting artists out on a, not just national, worldwide level. So with that being said, I knew that we had to actually get a buzz, get the people behind us or whatnot, and we got that now. And now that we got fans or whatnot, like tomorrow, he's going to be performing for Universal Records. And I don't want to hold this man back. If Universal say, hey, DJ Boss, we want you, and I tell all my artists this, they say, we want you, we don't want to have any affiliation with Show Me Records. Even though I know what his answer is going to be, I always say, hey, if you got that opportunity, man, and they don't want to mess with Show Me Records, take that opportunity. Go and make it happen. Just don't forget about Show Me Records.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So what we really need, I mean, we can say what we say on Facebook. I got 5,000 people that pretty much see me on Facebook and see the statuses and read the status. That's not enough. I'm trying to reach millions. But it costs money to do that. We know that. So what we really trying to do within the next couple years, or hopefully, tomorrow with this Universal thing, is get signed to a national label or a worldwide label to get a distribution deal. That's what we're working on. Right. Excuse me. Not so much of an artist being signed. That's not our goal. We want a distribution deal so we can reach the world like we want to.
And marketing is the best way.
Exactly.
No matter who gets signed or what, marketing is always the best.
Exactly. I just want to say one thing about that. Me being an artist, my whole goal is to reprogram this younger generation. Get their minds off of I popped the molly and I'm sweating, or in the club popping the bottle, I got money and I got a house around my neck and all of that stuff. It's not all about that the materialistic aspect of life. I want to teach these kids, these younger generation, and really, honestly, I'm speaking as a parent. I have children myself. It's cool to go to school. It's cool to listen to your parents. It's cool to go, because you get more respect from robbing someone and going to prison, doing some years, versus graduating from high school, going to college, and getting a degree.
Exactly.
It's backwards.
Right. That's what sense does that make?
The reason why it's like that is because of the way they're programmed. I mean, if you're going to glorify those negative things that he was just saying, the kids learn off of learned behavior. So they're like, well, maybe that's the thing to do.
Right.
Maybe popping mollies and sweating is the thing to do. We hear it all the time. You know what I mean? So, like what he's saying about reprogramming these kids' minds, that's something that needs to be done. Their minds need to be reprogrammed.
Exactly. It starts with the media, the television, the music. And see, one thing about television, think about this. Television program. They're telling you to visually program.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I can, if your kid favorite cartoon character is SpongeBob SquarePants, and as I'm
buying this and things,
right, and you know what, I'm going somewhere with this. If your kid's favorite character is SpongeBob SquarePants, and they got it now to where they can take anything and put words on it. I'm pretty sure you on Facebook and stuff, and he got a bottle in his hand and a cigarette in his hand. Kids are going to do it. I've seen it. If you remember, back in like the late 80s to the early mid 90s, there was a cigarette company called Camel, I believe, and it was a camel, with a cigarette in his mouth, targeting who? Kids. Me myself, I was young at the time. I wasn't even a teenager. I thought it was cool. Hey man, it's a camel with a cigarette in his mouth. So I mean, it's all about the message. And people wonder why the youth is out here robbing people, shooting at the police, and dropping out of school and all that nonsense. It's because people that have a voice to change the world is not doing it the proper way.
Exactly.
Instead of telling kids to stay in school and stuff, they telling kids to pop mollies.
Right.
Put a date rape drug in a drink and go rape her. It's I don't know. That's just my look on things.
No, I'm right. Look, I'll tell you what. When I look at a video, and I'm seeing money in hand, 40 million chains on you, half naked women on. Like, what am I going to think? I can pop mollies, get one of them girls, and I can have some money like this. And this is what the kids are going through. So, but I'm gonna give you guys the final word.
Like I said, I'm not really in this game to get rich. I'm in it because I feel that it was my calling. to do exactly what this man said, reprogram these kids' minds, man. I mean, if we make a decent living off of this music thing, that's fine. But people, you know, they criticize me all the time, like, JB, you're not going to get rich going against the grain. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get rich.
Right.
So that's my main message that I want everybody to know. It's not about getting rich.
And I pretty much feel the same way. I've turned down $1 billion deals. I worked 3 9-to-5 jobs, clock in, clock out jobs, you know, in my real life. It's not about money to me, you know. It's just like the good book says, you know, why gain the world and lose your soul?
Exactly.
You know, I mean, it's not worth it to me. And at the same time, I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son that's looking at every move that I make. You know, so I mean, you just gotta be careful with what you do. You know, that's why I enforce, you know, kids not doing drugs and staying in school. You know, and stop the violence. Those 2 things right there. Myself personally, but our company as a whole, Show Me Records, is very big on that. You know, stop the violence, don't do drugs, kids stay in school. You know. So I mean, that's what being a real man and a real woman is all about. It's not about walking around with your pants hanging off your butt, you know, and smoking blunts and stuff like that. That's not where it's at. It's not cool.
So, brothers, I'm going to take the final word, and I'm going to say it's been a pleasure with you guys.
Right.
Very positive. Keep doing what y'all do.